Saturday the 25th of November, and welcome to our Wyke Regis TV Saturday 6 o'clock news. And in the news this week, your local ambulance service, South Western Ambulance NHS Trust, is urging communities across the region to use its services responsibly this winter as it prepares for a challenging period. The Trust is expecting a winter period of significant and sustained demand across its 999 services, a position that is reflected across other health and care organisations locally, regionally and, of course, nationally. In response to this, the Trust has developed an extensive winter plan, and its leaders are asking communities to help them by following some simple steps. Only call 999 when someone is seriously injured or ill, or their life may be at risk. If you're waiting for an ambulance, please don't call 999 back unless the patient's condition has deteriorated, or of course if you no longer need an ambulance. And for non-life-threatening emergencies, people can access appropriate care by visiting NHS 111 online, by calling 111, contacting their GP practice, or getting advice from a pharmacy. Now, Wayne Darch, who's the Deputy Director of Operations at South Western Ambulance Service Foundation Trust, said, "We know this winter is going to be a very challenging time for us, which is why we're urging local communities to use our services responsibly and choose the right care for them. We want to be there for everyone that needs us in a medical emergency, and to ensure this we need to have crews available for patients with the most life-threatening conditions. Please only call 999 if someone is seriously injured or ill. For anything else, please contact NHS 111. Now, NHS Dorset, who's our primary care provider, also have a website called staywelldorset.nhs.uk. That's staywelldorset.nhs.uk, which contains information for people so that they can make informed choices if they need medical help. And new for this winter, SWAST FT, or South Western Ambulance Service Foundation Trust, will trial with system partners the development of a care coordination hubs across the South West. The hubs will bring together multidisciplinary teams, including ambulance service clinicians and health and social care professionals, and they'll provide real-time access for patients to health and urgent care services based within the community or secondary care. Children and young people are gearing up for a happy and healthy Christmas, courtesy of a range of free activities, holiday clubs and fun days offered through the Holiday Activities and Food Programme, or HAF for short. The HAF programme allows anyone who is already in receipt of benefit-related free school meals to sign up for an HAF passcode. This passcode grants free access to enriching activities and events across the county, all accompanied by a nutritious hot meal. Fee-paying bookings are also available for the majority of activities. Additionally, local holiday clubs and activity providers have increased their support for children with special educational needs and disabilities, with a number of locations now offering one-to-one support where required. Young children can choose to keep warm with lots of indoor sessions, and for those who like to be outside and active, there are plenty of outdoor sports and games included too. Now, some of the highlights in this year's programme, and these are more the western side of Dorset. There are activities across the whole of Dorset. An exclusive event at Farmer Palmer's Park. Children, including those with disabilities, can meet the farm animals, enjoy a tractor and trailer ride and receive gifts from Santa. A delicious hot meal will be served in the Cosy Farm Cafe. Treehouse Theatre in Purbeck and Gillingham, bringing the classic story of Cinderella to life in an immersive show with live music, audience banter, sing-alongs and opportunities for audience and volunteers, again with food provided and a disco as well. Samurai kickboxing camps in Dorchester. Children can try something new, learning martial arts skills that promote fitness, strength, coordination and mental well-being. And Weymouth Outdoor Education Centre, a rock hop activity at Tate Quarry in Portland, followed by climbing and indoor caving tunnels. Participants will receive a hearty Christmas dinner courtesy of Loose Moose with crackers and gifts included. All equipment and free return bus transfer to Portland will be provided. Now, Dorset Council's Holiday Activity and Food Programme, or HAF, is now in its third year, offering a vibrant and diverse collection of activities for children and teenagers of all ages and abilities. Now, to find out more and to book places, just go onto Google and type in the search bar Dorset HAF passcode. Dorset HAF passcode. And you'll get to a website where you'll get more information about the programme, and obviously you'll be able to book slots on those activities and several more that I haven't mentioned. Now, Weldmar's Hospice Care's Music by the Lake fundraiser returns in the summer of 2024, and it will be bigger than ever. Now featuring 3 live acts per show, visitors will now be able to book luxury picnic boxes, rent chairs, and even book a pitch for their motorhome or camper van during the event, which runs from the 5th to the 7th of July 2024, that's next summer, at the Dorchester Showground. 9 of the UK's leading tribute acts will be taken to the stage, with the Spice Girls, Pink and Robbie Williams on the opening Friday night. The iconic girl band will mark their 30th anniversary in 2024, as will Weldmar Hospice Care, the organisers of Music by the Lake. Saturday night is one for those who love classic pop from the 70s and 80s, with a headlining ABBA tribute as well as the music of Madonna and Duran Duran. And there's a legendary feel to Sunday afternoon where tributes to Motown icons Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross and Lionel Richie will be performing live as well. It sounds a really good lineup over those 3 days, and I know the event is very, very popular, and those that go to it have thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, once again, children under the age of 14 can attend for free, and discounts are available for those who work for the NHS, emergency services and the military in Dorset. Find out more about the event and make your booking at www.musicbythelake.net. That's www.musicbythelake.net. And just to give you an idea, 2023's Music by the Lake raised an incredible £45,000 for Weldmar Hospice Care. So it's a very, very important fundraiser for Weldmar, which is there for those people when they need it, when they have life-limiting illnesses and need that extra care and support. Now, harbour fees across West Dorset are expected to rise in the coming year. In Weymouth, they could rise by 7.5%, whilst West Bay and Lyme Regis could see rises of around 5%. Dorset Council Harbours Advisory Committee have been told that the harbour also needs to ensure enough income to make necessary improvements for harbour users and visitors, including the replacement of many of the pontoons. Harbour Master Ed Carter addressed the meeting and said that Weymouth's recreational harbour fees were low when compared to similar southwest harbours. He said, "Our investment is key to developing income streams and our contribution to the local economy." Mr Carter said one of the exceptions to the 7.5% proposal would be for commercial fees, where no increase at all is being proposed. He told the meeting that generally the harbour was doing well and remained popular, with a waiting list for spaces to accommodate larger vessels, although demand for owners of smaller boats had been declining. At West Bay and Lyme Regis, Harbour Master James Radcliffe is asking for a general 5% increase in fees, with no increase for visiting vessels, launch and slipway fees. All of the changes need to be approved by the Cabinet of Dorset Council before going to a full council meeting for final decisions. Now, officers from Dorset Police this week are appealing for witnesses or anyone with information to come forward as they investigate reported criminal damage to a home in Weymouth. The front door of an address in Budleigh Close was damaged sometime between 9 p.m. on Sunday the 19th of November and 6 a.m. on Monday the 20th of November. No access was gained to the property. Police Constable Nathan Boisset of Weymouth Police said, "We are conducting inquiries into this incident and I am keen to hear from anyone who witnessed any suspicious activity in the area of Budleigh Close on the night of Sunday the 19th of November into the early hours of Monday the 20th of November. Anyone who's got any information, or if you've got any CCTV or door camera footage, do contact Dorset Police by calling 101, or if you wish to give your information anonymously, then you can do that via the Crime Stoppers charity by calling 0800 555 111, 0800 555 111. Now, staying with Dorset Police, Operation Sceptre ran from Monday the 13th to Sunday the 19th of November and involved all 43 forces in the UK taking part in intensified efforts to crack down on knife-enabled crime and violence. The themes for this phase of SEPTA were around online knife retailers and responsible selling, raising awareness to parents and caregivers to ensure that they are aware of what packages are being sent to young people at home, and educating young people about the stark dangers of carrying weapons. Presentations were delivered to schools across the county, focusing on preventative education around themes such as the consequences and dangers of carrying weapons, common misconceptions around knife crime, and locations of knife surrender bins in Dorset where knives could be deposited anonymously. Handheld metal detectors were distributed to teams across Dorset. These will now be in operational use in operational vehicles across Dorset as a supportive tool to assist stop and search powers. Now, the force is pleased to report the following results as part of Operation SEPTA. 28 knives were removed from circulation, including knives surrendered in knife bins and those seized. 14 arrests were made for knife-related crime. Temporary Chief Superintendent Heather Dixie of Dorset Police said, "An important part of our work, in addition to the enforcement work we do, is prevention. Some young people carry a knife because they think it will make them safer, but carrying a knife can actually make them more vulnerable. We have been very proactive in providing education and engagement opportunities to local schools and discussing those common misconceptions around knife crime in Dorset." Now, the coroner for Dorset is seeking the assistance of the public to find the next of kin of a man who lived in Dorchester. Geoffrey George Cheffy, Cheffey, Cheffy, who was 87 years old, died at his home address in Poundbury Crescent on Monday the 20th of November. His death is not being treated as suspicious and no police investigation is needed into his death. Coroner's Officer Tracy Jean said, "We are not treating the death as suspicious. However, we have not been able to locate his next of kin. If any member of the public has any knowledge of his family members, please contact as soon as possible on 01202 123 900. That's 01202 123 900, and that's with regards to Geoffrey George Cheffy, who was 87 years old and died at his home address in Poundbury Crescent, Dorchester. If you know anything about Geoffrey or his family or next of kin, then please contact the coroner's office so that they can help to make contact and pass on the sad news of his death. Now, applications are now open for South Western Railway's Successful Community Investment Fund. South Western Railways, or SWR, is inviting applications for the next round of its Successful Customer and Communities Improvement Fund. The fund supports small and medium-sized projects with a community benefit or that address an area of social need somewhere on the SWR or South Western Railways network, which serves Berkshire, Devon, Dorset, London, Hampshire, the Isle of Wight, Somerset, Surrey and Wiltshire. The new funding round for the year 2024-25 is now opened, with applications judged on criteria including addressing community or social need, demonstration of benefits, deliverability against costs and timescales, alignment with the SWR's charity giving policy, and some sort of link with the railway. SWR welcomes bids from grassroots or neighbourhood groups, local authorities, elected representatives, civic societies, charities, sports teams, social clubs, or any other organisation with a great idea for how their fund may be able to help their community. Applications can be submitted until the end of Sunday the 31st of December 2023. More information about how to submit a proposal can be found on SWR's webpage at southwesternrailways.com/CCIF. That's Customer and Communities Improvement Fund. southwesternrailway.com/CCIF. Now, since the launch of the first round of the CCIF in 2018, SWR, or South Western Railways, has awarded more than £7 million in funding to a wide range of products. This year, for 2023-24, grant funding was awarded to 58 projects. Now, you might be wondering why we have a picture on the screen of an animal looking at us. Now, one project was at Vauxhall City Farm in southwest London. Received a grant this year, one of the capital's top urban farms. Vauxhall City Farm provides educational programmes and community engagement activities for adults and children alike in one of London's most deprived boroughs. So there we go, one of those inner city farms that children get the chance to visit if they don't get the chance to go to the countryside and benefit of the things that we can benefit down here in Dorset. Now, £5.3 million of investment in innovative projects to make railways more accessible has been launched. AI technology could soon see live staff announcements across train tickers to enable passengers hard of hearing so that they don't miss vital updates, thanks to a government funding competition announced this week on Thursday. This is just one of the 17 projects, 6 of which are focused on accessibility, that have been announced this week as part of the 2023 First of a Kind competition. Running conjunction with Innovate UK, other accessibility projects set to share in the £5.3 million of funding offered by the government include strategically placed QR codes around stations which allow train managers to directly input important information on platform changes and service alterations, as well as acting as a database for accessibility information, ensuring passengers have all the information they need. An online journey planner providing up-to-date information on key facilities such as where accessible toilets are in stations and trains throughout the journey and whether they're open and in use, giving passengers more confidence when planning journeys. Installing kiosk systems on platforms similar to pressing a button on a bus to let the driver know to stop. In rural areas where passengers currently have to physically flag down trains, this can cause difficulties for those with mobility needs. Now, this is the 7th round of First of a Kind funding, which aims to develop new and innovative technology to drive efficiency, modernise current infrastructure and make using our railways a better experience for passengers. Other winning projects this year include a sensor to detect when there's leaves on the line, a problem that causes delays across the network, obviously. Dream Suite, a new design for UK sleeper services, and new technology that will allow train timetables to rapidly update during extreme weather events so people are kept up to date. Goodness, lots of innovation on the railways there. And now the Tudor House in Weymouth is celebrating the end of a successful season by holding a special Christmas event. Step back in time to 1600s and see how the Tudors prepare for Christmas as part of this living history experience. Immerse yourself in the sights, sounds and smells of the Tudor House in Weymouth at the turn of the 16th century. You can have a go at making a pomander, investigate the different layers of clothing worn and maybe even try some on. Those with an interest in music might try joining in with a song, or elsewhere listening to some period music played on period instruments. And through it all, discover how Christmas was celebrated under Elizabeth I and how it differs from now. Tudor House will be open from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday the 9th of December. Free entry, but donations are welcome. The house is in Trinity Street, Weymouth. That's on the south side of the harbour, by the old rooms there, and down by the old brewery. So that's Trinity Street, Weymouth, 9th of December, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you'll be very welcome. The house is owned and run by local charity, the Weymouth Civic Society. And on behalf of Weymouth Civic Society, Chris Wilson has said, "We're delighted to have increased the visitor numbers to Tudor House this year, but we've only been able to open 2 days a week. We are looking for additional volunteers to help us welcome people to the house on extra days next year. If you can help keep the Tudor House open and welcome visitors to the Tudor House, do drop Chris and his team of volunteers an email at tudorhouse@weymouthcivicsociety.org, tudorhouse@weymouthcivicsociety.org, where you'll get more information about the event, if that's what you're after, or becoming a volunteer if that's what you're interested in. Now, a drop-in session has been organised for the residents of Portland so that they can make comments on health and wellbeing services being provided on the island and to hear about future plans. It will be held at the Portland Masonic Hall in Chisel on Friday, December the 1st, that's this coming Friday, from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. It will be hosted by the Island Community Action Group, ICA, This follows a public meeting held last February that was organised by Health Services and the local authority after local concerns about services on the island. At that meeting, a commitment was made to keep on listening and also to take a closer look at the challenges in respect to services on the island. This new event is to give the community the chance to learn about ongoing work and feed into the ongoing conversation. And it says here, there will be mince pies available during the session. There we go, that's this coming Friday at the Masonic Hall there, just as you go on to the island of Portland. Now, Dorset Council Area Public Spaces Protection Order for dogs in open spaces has been issued. This follows the Council's Cabinet approving the recommendations made to them in a report for the dog-related Public Spaces Protection Order across the Dorset Council area. There's now a period of 6 weeks where the order can be challenged on the grounds that the Council does not have the power to make the order or include specific requirements within the order, or that the legislation related to public service protection orders has not been followed. If there isn't a challenge to the order, it will come into effect on the 1st of January. The Cabinet report was formed following an extensive consultation that gathered views from residents, visitors, businesses and other organisations. 4,221 responses were received. 80% of the responses were from local residents, with 16.5% from visitors and 2.8% from other sources. 62% of the responses came from dog owners. Now, the reason for implementing a dog-related public services protection order on specific beaches and open spaces is to keep them free from dog fouling and safe to use by all. Insisting that dogs are on leads in particular areas means that owner has adequate control over the dog, which means that they can see if the dog fouls and doesn't cause issues for other people or other dogs. Now, unless amended at any stage, the order will remain in place for 3 years. Now, if you want to see details about that order and see what it says, then you can go onto Google and you can put into the search engine Dorset Council PSPO, Dorset Council PSPO, Public Services Protection Order. There we go. And finally, in our headlines tonight, a very popular local pub is set to close. It's been reported in the Dorset Echo this week that the Elm Tree at Langton Herring is to close this Sunday at 5 p.m, and the news has come as a shock to many in the area. Despite advertising a Christmas menu throughout December, private hire for Christmas parties and even open times over the holidays, it has not been possible to book tables past this Sunday. It's understood about half a dozen staff are facing redundancy. The pub has been owned by the Electric Pub Company since 2020. They also own and operate several other pubs and restaurants across the county, including the Piemore Inn just outside Bridport, the World's End between Wimborne and Regis, and the Arts Club in Bridport, and others. The Elm Tree itself dates back to the 1700s. It's a character pub with a colourful history. It was once frequented by smugglers and is well known as being the meeting place of Harry Horton and his girlfriend Ethel G from the Portland Spy Ring in the 1950s and 1960s. The Echo reports that staff were told of the closure at the end of last week, and one worker saying the owners have decided to close. I don't know what they plan to do with it, whether they plan to sell or lease it. The Electric Pub Company was established in 2019 by Alistair Warren and Steve Killingbeck with the objective of building a portfolio of freehold pubs across Dorset. They've yet to make comment on their plans for the property. And that brings us to the end of the headlines tonight. Now, areas of outstanding natural beauty, or AONBs, areas of outstanding natural beauty, a term that we've used for a long time, have this week been renamed as national landscapes. On Wednesday last week, all designated areas of outstanding natural beauty in England and Wales have become national landscapes. In Dorset, this includes both the Dorset National Landscape and the Cranbourne Chase National Landscape. The new name reflects their national importance. Now, this is a significant milestone for the UK and the next step in fully realising the National Landscape's vision to be the leading examples of how thriving, diverse communities can work with and for nature in the UK, restoring ecosystems, providing food, storing carbon to mitigate the effects of climate change, safeguarding against drought and flooding, whilst also nurturing people's health and well-being. National Landscapes teams have been at the forefront of delivering natural solutions to the main challenges facing the nation for many years. The new brand underscores their commitment to redoubling their efforts and engaging with a wider audience. Let's see and hear a little bit about what National Landscapes are and what it's all about.
Welcome to a story about all of us. The story of who we were then, who we are now, and the places that make us. Places where the joy of exploring is remembered, where new paths cross for life, where callings are found, where people live and work and breathe. Welcome to stories about care and protection. To landscapes where outstanding beauty isn't only found in nature, but in communities working together to grow and change and thrive. So welcome back, or welcome home. And welcome even if we've never met before. This is where our stories come to life, and there's space for so many more to be told. Welcome to National Landscapes.
There we go, that's National Landscapes, launched this week, that took over from areas of outstanding natural beauty. Now there are 46 National Landscapes in the UK, and they cover 14% of England, Wales and Northern Ireland, including moorland, farmland, coast forests, and including UNESCO World Heritage Sites. 66% of people in England, that's 44 million people, live within 30 minutes of a national landscape, and at least 170 million people visit them every year. We're going to hear more about some of the parts of the national landscape in Dorset over the coming weeks. But in the meantime, if you want to learn more about national landscapes and particularly national landscapes in Dorset, there is a specific new website, www.dorset-nl.org.uk, www.dorset-nl.org.uk. Now, moving on, this week I thought I would give you a little bit of a taster of something from Artsreach. We've done this a few times over the few years that we've been broadcasting. And this week I'm going to tell you one about something that is called Mara, that's running this weekend in a couple of places. It's 1868. Discharged from the army with malaria, Morton scrapes a living on the edge of Sweden's ancient forests. Suddenly he begins to suffer nightmares and mysterious visits as he sleeps. A friend tells him he's plagued by a Mara, a possessed person who visits another in spirit form. To free himself from the Mara, he must discover their identity. But who is it? To find out, he begins to closely watch the world around him, but he becomes aware of his neighbours' lives and the life of the ancient forests. His own begins to transform. Now, as we've said before, Artsreach do a diverse range of different performance and artistic activities, and this is just one of them, and I thought I'd give you a taste of it. So it's described as entertaining, unsettling and moving. This solo storytelling performance is a whodunit, a dive into the dreamscape of Swedish folklore, a love story, a journey into Europe's ancient forests, a playful look at our relationship with sleep and an exploration of what really means to be awake. And it's a performance by storyteller Dominic Kelly. It actually runs for 90 minutes plus an interval. It's actually on tonight and on tomorrow night at Stamford Orcas Village Hall. But here's a little taster, just to give you an idea of one of the different things that comes from the charity Artsreach that does performances all across Dorset.
You're lying in bed in the middle of the night and you realise someone is in your room. Are you awake or asleep? You can't move. You can barely breathe. You're being visited by a Mara. You start having terrible dreams. And it could get much more serious than that. You need to find out who the Mara is. Could be one of your neighbours. A Mara can hide in your house. A piece of wood. A feather. Even an animal. There was this man who was plagued by a Mara once. He woke to see a cat creeping out. He hit it with a stone. Later that morning, the maid on the farm came out with a big bump on her head. Another found a piece of straw on the floor by the bed. They burned half of it, and later a neighbour appeared with the sleeve of their shirt burned away. A page from a hymn book might keep a Mara at bay, but it's not going to help you find out who it is. If you want to do that, you're going to have to start looking at everything around you. But don't we look around us all the time? And how often do we see what's really there?
There we go, that's Mara by Dominic Kelly. One of the things that Arts Reach are doing, and we'll be back to Arts Reach in our events section in a while. It's now time in today's programme where we go over to Andrew Wright for this week's film review and preview.
Welcome to Wyke Regis TV film review and preview. I'm Andrew Wright. This week, the horror sequel film The Nun 2 was released on home video. The film is a sequel to the 2018 film The Nun and is the 8th film in the Conjuring universe. The film stars Taissa Farmiga, Jonas Boquet, Storm Reid, Anna Popplewell and Bonnie Aarons. The film takes place 4 years after the events of the first film, so they're now in 1956, and revolves around Farmiga's sister Irene as she is tasked to investigate a series of deaths which suggest that the demon Valak has returned. Now, I'm a fan of the Conjuring universe, as it's my favourite horror franchise, and despite the fact the first film wasn't great, I was still looking forward to this film. Unfortunately, I was disappointed in the film. I did like the magazine stand gag that was shown prominently in the trailers, but the film just felt dull and slow. So by the time anything exciting happened in the third act, you're just zoned out. So I gave the film 1 star out of 5. This week, the new animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film was released on home video. This new film, titled Mutant Mayhem, revolves around the Turtles going on the hunt for a mysterious crime syndicate, only to come up against an army of mutants. Now, I reviewed the film back in August when I saw it in cinema, and I really enjoyed the film's animation and directing, as well as Jackie Chan's performance as Master Splinter, but I felt that the film relied too much on overly juvenile humour and references that a lot of people probably wouldn't understand, especially like the adults in the audience. I gave the film 3 stars out of 5. A sequel and a animated TV show are in development, so those will be coming at some point. This week, the new Ridley Scott film, historical drama and film Napoleon, is being released in cinemas. The film stars Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon Bonaparte and Vanessa Kirby as his love interest, Josephine. The film depicts the true story of the French leader's rise to power, as well as his relationship with Empress Josephine. The film has received a mixed reception from critics, with the positive reviews hanging around in the low 60%, with there being praise for Phoenix and Kirby's performances, as well as the battle sequences in the film. But criticism for the film's 157-minute runtime, as well as Ridley Scott's direction. The audience reception is round about the same, in the low 60s. The film is in cinemas this Thanksgiving weekend, so it came out on Wednesday, I believe, and the film is expected to stream on Apple TV Plus at a later date due to the film being an Apple Studios production, but no word on that, just like Killers of the Flower Moon. That's all I have for this week, but be sure to check back next week where I will review Oppenheimer, because I didn't have time to review it this week, but I'll have time to review it next week. So, now back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Andrew, and we'll be back with Andrew next week to hear about Oppenheimer. And we do have a movie trailer for you this week, and it's a new film that's coming out called Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's from Warner Brothers. Here comes the synopsis of it. Dive into Atlantis as Jason Momoa returns in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in cinemas from December the 21st. Director James Wan and Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa, along with Patrick Wilson, Amber Heard and Nicole Kidman, return in this sequel to the highest grossing DC film of all time, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Having failed to defeat Aquaman the first time, Black Manta, still driven by the need to avenge his father's death, will stop at nothing to take Aquaman down once and for all. This time, Black Manta is more formidable than ever before, wielding the power of the mythic Black Trident, which unleashes an ancient and malevolent force. To defeat him, Aquaman will turn to his imprisoned brother Orm, the former king of Atlantis, to forge an unlikely alliance. Together they must set aside their differences in order to protect their kingdom and save Aquaman's family and the world from irreversible destruction. Now, Warner Brothers Pictures presents An Atomic Monster, a Peter Safran production of an A. James Wan film, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. It's in cinemas from December the 21st, and we broadcast it tonight courtesy of Warner Brothers, and here is the trailer for you now.
Hi, baby boy. Talking to the fishies? You and me, son, we're different. We're special. We're connected to the land and the sea. I can't wait to introduce you to all the majestic creatures on our planet and show you how awesome this world can be. Yeah, you and me.
I'm gonna kill Aquaman. Even if I have to make a deal with the devil to do it.
Free me from my prison, and all my power will be yours.
The key to this prison is the royal bloodline itself.
He needs us. We're the end of the bloodline.
No, we're not.
Yeah! Manta took Junior.
He must be stopped.
I'm coming for you. He'll destroy everything he holds dear.
You want blood? Come get it!
There we go, that's in cinemas from December the 21st. Now it's time in the programme for the weekend weather forecast, and we go over to the Met Office, and this week we are joined by Greg Dewhurst.
Hello there, welcome to your latest Met Office forecast. It was a cold start to the day, temperatures down to -7.7, making it the coldest night of the autumn so far. Looking at the picture for the next few days, a little bit of mild air tries to move in for a time, Sunday into Monday, but then cold air returns through next week. And as we head through next week, we may just see low pressure systems trying to move in. bringing the risk of some patchy rain, but if it bumps into the colder air, particularly over some higher ground areas, we may see that rain turn to snow. The risk of wintry showers across northern parts of the UK too, particularly Wednesday, Thursday and into Friday. But the details at this stage still need to be pinned down, so stay tuned to the forecast over the coming days for more information on that. But for the rest of Saturday, plenty of blue skies across the country. Yes, a cold feeling day, a frost just holding on and then returning quite quickly this afternoon across northern parts of the UK. 1 or 2 showers still possible down the east coast, and plenty of dry weather though for many, and then just some hazy cloud starting to move in across the far west ahead of the next weather system moving in. And a cold feeling day across the board with those northerly winds. We've got temperatures of 4 to 7 degrees, so below average for the time of year, so you will need to wrap up warmly. The frost returns quickly this evening for many of us, some mist and fog patches forming too. And then as we head overnight, that thicker cloud moves into the far west, outbreaks of rain moving in across parts of Northern Ireland, around some western coast by the end of the night. Ahead of this, we could see a few mist and fog patches developing, which could be quite dense by a Sunday morning, and temperatures falling below freezing for many of us, -3 to -5 in the countryside, perhaps a little lower. But as the cloud moves into western areas here, temperatures actually rising through the night. You can see there Belfast 4 degrees by Sunday morning. So cloudy picture here, outbreaks of rain. Elsewhere some fog patches, but some sunshine to greet us, though sunshine turning increasingly hazy through the morning as cloud thickens and pushes north and eastwards. Best of the sunshine for central parts of Scotland as we move through into the afternoon, a weather front affecting the Northern Isles here. But elsewhere, generally turning quite cloudy, outbreaks of rain moving in, which could be quite heavy over the higher ground of Wales in particular. Some showers starting to move in by the end of the afternoon across Northern Ireland. And temperatures, a cold day, 4 or 5 degrees under that cloud as it thickens. Milder air trying to push into the far southwest, 9 to 11 Celsius here, but with the cloud and the rain, it will feel chillier than those numbers suggest. Heading through the evening time on Sunday and overnight into Monday, low pressure dominates, so a lot of cloud around, outbreaks of rain, so it generally means a less cold night to come. Under some clearer skies, we could see a little frost across the glens of Scotland. 1 or 2 showers filtering in across northern Scotland too, could be on the wintry side over the higher ground, and then showers turning quite heavy across the west and southwest to take us into Monday morning. And as I mentioned at the beginning, over the week ahead, we're looking at generally unsettled conditions. It will be turning colder than average once more after a brief milder blip on Monday, and the risk of some snow, but the details to be confirmed, so stay tuned to the forecast. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll have the latest information as well as our social media channels. See you again soon.
Thank you very much there, Greg, for the national weather forecast and looking at the local weather for the week ahead. The one thing you will notice, we've had fairly consistent sort of showers, cloudy and sunny spells for the last few weeks with it being mild, but you will notice the temperatures are dropping and actually probably dropping further than actually on this chart. Certainly last night we were down to about 3 or 2.5 degrees at 10 o'clock last night, and there was a hard frost this morning in Wyke, Regis here, so it's going to be drier, but it's going to be colder. There is a possibility of some wet stuff in the air later in the week, and we don't know whether that will fall as rain or possibly as snow, depending on temperatures and airstreams. So one to watch. There are predictions that we may be getting snow before Christmas and may have coverings on the ground for a week or so. But we will have to see what happens. As we know, we don't always get what is forecast down here on the south coast. Now, moving to our What's On session this week. Lots of events happening in the run-up to Christmas. 26th of November, we're starting at the Weymouth Pavilions. 26th of November, Rhythm of the Dance. 28th of November, Classic Ballet and Opera House presents Giselle. 29th of November, The Nutcracker by the same people, Classic Ballet and Opera House. 30th of November, Shape of You, the music of Ed Sheeran. 2nd of December, The Overtones, the Good Times Tour. 5th of December, The Lions Christmas Show. 9th of December, Guns N' Roses Experience. And 16th of December to the 31st of December, Christmas pantomime Snow White. In Wyke Regis next weekend, We have Wyke Christmas on Sunday, the Wyke Christmas Fair, with the village being shut off. That's from about 11 o'clock in the morning through till about 5. Lots of stalls there, so we hope for a dry Sunday. And on Saturday night there is the concert before the fair in Wyke Regis Memorial Hall. Tickets are available for that. That's with the Coves, a very popular local group. Tickets are £7.50. I think that includes a drink. And tickets are available on www.parishofwykeregis.org.uk/events. So they are bookable online, and they are £7.50 including a drink. At the Noath Fort, we've got the Elf Hunt tomorrow and the Noath Artillery tomorrow. 1st of December, Dickensian evening at the Fort. 2nd of December, that's next Saturday, Steampunk Christmas at the Noath. And 3rd of December, next Sunday, Picklebottom the Elves Christmas Show at the Noath. More details on stuff at the Noath Fort on www.noathfort.org.uk. Arts Reach, as we said, have got a very full programme out. Look at their website, www.artsreach.co.uk. Next weekend on Saturday, folk music from Flanders is at the Royal Manor Theatre on Portland, and the 8th of December, the Merry Adventures of Robin Hood are at West Stafford Village Hall. There's literally all sorts of stuff on the Arts Reach website, all over Dorset. If you don't mind getting in a car and driving to one of the remoter villages, there is quite a choice of stuff going on, and quite a bit of it going on in West Dorset at Powerstock and Blandford and Bridport and Portland and Portisham, West Stafford, those sort of places, so watch out for those. That's artsreach.co.uk. And the last thing I think to mention in our What's On is the Mayor of Weymouth will be having her Carols by the Coast with the Salvation Army Band next Saturday, 2nd of December, 5 o'clock by the beach office on the promenade. So do join the Mayor there. And final thing, church services in Wyke Regis this weekend. All Saints Church tomorrow at 8 a.m. and 9:30 for a traditional BCP Book of Common Prayer service at 8 o'clock, and a more modern worship at 9:30 and 11 o'clock at St Edmund's Church. Finally to say, our other programme tonight, our quiz, will be on at 7:30. We'll be going live in about 25 minutes so that you can get the feed and get yourself comfortable before we start at 7:30. That's open to anybody. It's free. It's family friendly and for the whole community, and everybody is welcome. So if there's nothing on the TV tonight and you're at home on your own, or you're at home with a family and thinking what we're going to do tonight, do join in with our quiz. Runs from 7:30 through to about 20 to 9, quarter to 9, and you'll be very, very welcome. Now, if you've got events happening or any news for us in the run-up to Christmas, we would love to hear from you. Do drop us a line. Email, as ever, is news@wykeregis.tv. news@wykeregis.tv. Do pop us along an email, and we'll be happy to publicise your event or share your news with the people of Wyke Regis, South Dorset and beyond. That brings us to the end of this week's programme. Do wrap up warm this weekend if you're going out. Have a good weekend. Maybe you're starting to do some preparation for Christmas and doing some Christmas shopping or something, or baking or making your Christmas pudding. But whatever you're doing this weekend and the week ahead, have a good week, and I'll be back with you next Saturday at 6 o'clock. Good night.